In November of 2023, the Swell Pod took a 10-day journey across 5 states, traveling 3,580 miles with one challenge in mind.
And that challenge was to interview 100 pleasantly rebellious humans to uncover deep truths about what it takes to create something that has never existed before, challenge the status quo, maybe even change the world.
This is the Kiln Road Trip, created and produced by the Swell Pod.
In partnership with Kiln, Moterra Camper Vans, and sponsored by Taurus.
I'm Spencer McKeown.
And I'm Josh Taylor, and together we're the co-hosts of the Swell Pod and your guides on the Kiln Road Trip. Follow along on the journey.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, follow the Swell Pod on social media, and subscribe to your YouTube channel at, you guessed it, the Swell Pod.
This is interview 32 of the Kiln Road Trip, and today we're at Kiln Lehi talking with Justin Brey and John Moore. Justin Brey is the co-founder and CMO of Heare Brotherhood, and John Moore, the co-founder and chief visionary officer of Heare Brotherhood. Heare is a company with a mission to forge a global brotherhood of support and growth. They're building a community of men who are there for one another, where men are free to express and also listen. They are here to hear. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you enjoy.
Would you both introduce yourselves and what you do?
Go first.
Okay,
You go.
I'll go first. Yeah, well, okay, all right. I'll go first. So my name is John Moore. I have a design company. I do murals kind of like this and design work. But I also have started a thing with Justin this year called Heare Brotherhood. And we are trying to provide safe spaces for men to be able to open up and to have support and to grow all together in a brotherhood. So we have apparel. We have an app. It's we don't call it social media. We call it support media because it's actually good for your mental health instead of the rest of social media. So we have the app, the apparel, and then we do events and retreats. So that's kind of a little bit of an overview. I come from Denver area. That's where I grew up, which is why I love Boulder and I think it's beautiful. Special place in my heart. And I have a wife, Kelly, and 5 kids, a girl and then 4 boys. Fantastic. And we live in Heber. So we're excited. I'm excited to be here and thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
For sure. My name is Justin Brey. My profession is digital marketing, specifically in running ads. So I've been doing that for the past 10 or so years, worked for several ad agencies, done a lot of freelance work. And yeah, like John said, we've recently kind of found our passion and purpose, we feel like, in this life. And John just reached out to me this last January. People think that we've known each other for a long time because of all the bickering.
It feels like it.
But we haven't. He just reached out to me in January. Just from some things I was posting on LinkedIn that were kind of about my past and my history with my mental health struggles and everything I went through. And we started this company called Heare Brotherhood this May, and it's been incredible. It's grown a lot more rapidly than we thought it was going to, just 100% organically, pretty much solely through LinkedIn.
Yeah, amazing.
And I always tell people, I'm like, it's pretty much happened. None of it's really happened on purpose. It's just all been very story-led and story-driven and purpose-driven. And so it's been a really cool ride so far.
Yeah, it's the way it's meant to happen, or just organically, and it's real. It's not forced. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, just in the past few months, we have a Heare Brotherhood oath, which is tattooed on my arm now, right there.
Yeah.
And we have almost 11,000 people who've signed it so far since we launched in May, and we're approaching, I think, almost 2,000 members on our app right now. So really cool.
That's amazing.
It's been awesome.
It's certainly resonating, which is. Yeah. It's not a surprise, but the surprise is just how quickly everything is gone and
we've held over 40 events.
Yeah.
So anyways.
That's amazing.
It's been a wild ride so far.
What, why is it resonating with people? And tell us a bit more about what you do. I mean, how you address those needs.
I think, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay. I think it was just so apparent that there's such a huge need. I really started opening up on LinkedIn about my personal story. About almost 3 years ago, I went through a pretty bad mental health crisis, almost lost my family, got addicted to alcohol and drugs, almost got divorced, and almost took my life. And I recently started opening up about more of those experiences on LinkedIn. And as I did that and started talking more about brotherhood and the need for that, John reached out to me. And just when I opened up my story, I literally had hundreds of men just reach out to me on my inbox. And it became so apparent to me very quickly that my story was not unique at all. Like it was so ununique, and so many men were either currently going through struggles, or they had been through struggles, or things like that. And men just really want a safe place to connect and be vulnerable and to talk. And kind of this, to break this stigma, we hear this thing all the time that men don't want to open up. And it really is kind of a lie. I think men do want to open up. They just need a safe space to do that in.
And they haven't been given those opportunities in the past much.
Yeah. And so that's what we create through, our app, which we always call it a safe space, and the retreats that we have. And it's been a really cool experience.
And going off that, I think part of why it's resonating so much is because of the platform that we chose to do it on, which is LinkedIn. There's a lot of people that are vulnerable and even over vulnerable. They overshare on Instagram, Facebook, which has kind of become its reputation, right? Yeah. And so for us to be sharing our stories and stories of other men who just sharing their struggle and overcoming, that has really resonated with people on LinkedIn because it's not what you see normally on LinkedIn. Usually it's people with walls up, and they talk about how, not that this happens all the time, but just how amazing you are and all your accolades and everything. And instead we're saying, hey, we struggle with this, and we've struggled with this. And that opens the floodgates to people reaching out and saying, thank you for sharing your story. It has given permission to a lot of people who have not felt seen or heard in the past. It's given them permission to do that. And it's been fun to watch people that have responded to us sharing our stories, and then them sharing theirs, and seeing the reaction that they get from that. It's been pretty inspiring for them to realize how powerful it is for us to open up with each other.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is surprising how quickly it prompts someone else to do something they haven't done before, or not recently, and certainly not in a public setting on LinkedIn. That's amazing. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, we'll make a switch. So can you guys tell me about some of your events? Like, what have you done? What do they look like?
Our events are really centered around like being present in the moment. That's really the types of things we try to focus on. So we do lots of hikes, we do cold plunges,
breath work.
We do breath work, and our retreats are very similar. We just had an incredible retreat up at Zion's it was the biggest retreat we've done so far. Typically our retreats were like 7-ish men, and then we had one in Idaho that we pushed to 15, and then we're like, well, let's try to double it again. And so we got to 33 men in Zion. And
just a week ago.
And
That's
it
insane.
was one of the most like, the only word I can think of is like sacred experience. Like it was 2 nights, 3 days. And we did some hiking, we did some breath work, we had Nikki Covington come, shout out to him, who he came, and he's like a Tai Chi master, an incredible artist.
He's one of those people that you just hear him speak and you're like, he's
a holy man.
He's like an ancient, he like has this ancient wisdom.
Which is similar to Mike Allen, our other founder, who's not here. But so we do really things to help people stay grounded and center themselves and be really present in the moment that they're currently in.
But a lot of these events, we like to focus on variety as well, because one of the things we want to do is bring in as many men as possible that this resonates with them. Yeah. And so, a couple weeks ago, we did an MMA kickboxing event at Wasatch Combat Sports in Orem. We partnered up with Setfire Creative, my friend McKeown Kennedy, and that was such a powerful event, especially when you put it up against the breathwork the week before, and so it's all these. We like to have a variety because we're trying to bring in all types of different men, and that's, I think, what I'm most proud of. What we're doing is the variety of men. I think a lot of these men's movements and groups that you see on Instagram or on social media, I love, and I appreciate what they're doing, and I love it, but a lot of times they all look the same. Yeah. And it's a lot of people from the same background, and that's what I love about what we're doing is you have such a variety of people that come to the events because they feel welcomed as they are. They don't have to be this high-performing guy in order to come to our events. Sure.
Yeah, or like to fit some stereotypical like alpha male. Like I feel like we're really appealing to the silent majority of men who doesn't feel like they're not like on the far right end or the far left end, but they're just in the middle, and they just want to be better guys, and they want to connect with other guys that are similar to them.
Yeah. I'm wondering, so like, because there is that stigma about opening up, and if it is kind of like a silent majority, is there some hesitancy when you guys have these events? Like, it takes a minute for everybody to kind of get into it and kind of get up to what you guys are trying to do, and do you build the experience around that to kind of help open them up and kind of get everybody prepared and ready for that, I guess?
So we were just talking about that this morning, actually, so the Heare Brotherhood Oath. We start every event reading that. Oh, okay. It's kind of our foundation for these events, and to say it shortly, there's parts of it say, I will be my brother's keeper. Not only will I reach out when I need help, but I will be there for my brothers in need. So it kind of sets this foundation where you can kind of cut the crap and the pleasantries of, hey, how are you? And cut right to the idea and the intention of why we're here, which is, we have fun. We joke around a lot. Yeah. Anybody that has ever watched us together knows that. But there's a time for that, and then there's a time for us to kind of set apart this time to be there for each other. So I think it kind of sets the intention when we start with the oath. Yeah, and I feel like our app also helps as well. That's kind of where we funnel everyone through, for lack of a better word, is where our app came from. Is we had our other founder, Mike Allen, he was already previously holding retreats. And so we went to one of his retreats before launching, and we just loved the experience because during that time, within 24 or 48 hours, you just become like brothers with these guys that you were with, and you cry together and you're hugging and you're sharing, and then you leave and it's kind of like you just go back to your normal lives. And so that's where the app kind of came from, is we're like, we want to create something digitally where people can experience this on a daily or weekly or monthly basis. And then also when they go on our retreats or prior to, they are connecting within our app and already getting to know each other and experiencing things. Because on our app, we do like mental check-ins, we do anonymous questions, we do things that are all centered around guys opening up and feeling safe and being vulnerable. And so I feel like that also in preparation helps people going into the retreats as well. Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I love that.
Well, I was just saying, I really like the fact that you've built the community around utilizing an app, not around it, but the fact is that is actually there to make it a safe space. You could have used Slack, and you could have used a number of other things.
We almost did Facebook groups.
Because necessity sometimes, but you've been able to build it and create it, and that is going to be a core part of your what you go forward with, right? A safe, technologically wise, a safe space as well as your physical in-person spaces. That's great. Right now, what are the challenges that you're facing? Like, biggest challenge to grow?
We know the answer to that.
Well, actually, the challenge, I know what he's going to say, but I'm going to say one other thing is actually growth. Yeah. That's the challenges. And this racks my brain every single day, is because we haven't put any money into advertising. It's all been organic, like Justin said. And so what I'm nervous about is when we do grow, how can we do that and have the experiences that we've been having without losing the intimacy of these smaller groups and this kind of more intimate community, because that is my biggest fear with this is losing that. And I think we'll figure it out, and we're figuring it out. So that's my biggest thing right now is my biggest worry.
And one really cool thing with our app, which we should mention, is prior to our app going live, we decided to officially come up with our mission, which is to forge a global brotherhood of support and growth. And we debated on doing forge a global brotherhood because at the time we weren't officially global. And literally a week later, after we decided that mission, our app was officially global. We literally have guys on every single continent on our app. We have guys in several states. And part of the struggle has been trying to keep up with the growth, because we have guys in New York, in Texas, in India, in Africa, in all these other states. And we're primarily based in Utah. And we're pretty proud of it so far, but we've held events in 5 different states so far. But guys in other states are wanting to have events there. They're wanting to have retreats there. And right now it's like, we're just bootstrapping this ourselves right now, and we're trying to get the resources and things to make that happen all over the country and all over the world.
Yeah, that's the challenge, because any small company growing to a unicorn business, you are not going to have the same thing you had earlier, but you can adapt and you can grow. But how do you don't want to slow it down either. You want to take this moment and
because it's so needed. It's such a need among so many guys, and they want to experience the things that we're experiencing in these other states. Sometimes I feel bad posting things that happen at our retreats and stuff. But
and that was one of the things when we had our first retreat with Mike Allen, our other co-founder, we had such an impactful and transformative experience that afterwards we said, okay, as it is in the experiences that we just had, how can we translate that to the whole world, to as many men as possible? And so we've tried to be very thorough in our approach to the growth so that we don't lose that. And so far, so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we have 10,000 people on the app yet, but I think once we can get some funding to be able to do that, I think it will continue to kind of unfold, because we have some amazing advisors, which we can't say quite yet, but we're announcing that on Thursday. But we have a really incredible group of advisors on our advisory board who have been building businesses similar, that will give some great advice on how to continue to grow without losing that intimacy.
They've done it before in a different area, and
sure,
they're going to help.
Or certain expertise, because we also don't brand ourselves as doctors or therapists, because a lot of that also turns people off sometimes too. We don't want guys to feel like when they come to our retreats that they're walking into like a doctor's office or a therapy office, but like we don't ever want to brand ourselves that way. But we're bringing onto our advisory board like those skills are still necessary. Sometimes we're finding out on our app to be like, how do we approach this member who's like really struggling without being like, we're a doctor and this is the diagnosis. Because
you can only offer support so far until there's certain medical things or certain triggers, like if somebody's suicidal or, those are the things that we're just not equipped to handle. But we do have people on our board who are able to step in and know what to do. And so that's
but our app and community is we don't want to ever be looked at like a suicide hotline or anything. It's more of a community. It's a brotherhood. It's a safe space for men.
Can I just ask, so how does one become a part of this? What does that look like?
It's pretty simple. You have to go to our website, sign the oath.
Or our app.
Or the app. You can sign it on either place. And that's it. You're a part of the brotherhood. Now, there's being a part of it, and then there's being an active part of it, which is, I think, where impact happens. And that's on the app, where people go and they are able to look at the posts and interact and support others and grow together. On the app, we have different things. It's not just the social media aspect or support media. It's we have every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do something called Heare Assembly. And we basically wake up together. Justin and Mike and we all go live. And we do like a 15-minute kind of morning mantra. We do an inspirational quote, get us off on the right foot. And then Mike leads us through some either breath work, some breathing techniques, gratitude.
Like mindfulness.
Yeah, or mindfulness. There's a few different techniques that he uses. And then we kind of finish it off with like the takeaway.
That's awesome.
So there's that. We do Heare Talks, which are kind of like a virtual TED Talk. We bring someone on. We do a bunch of different things, but it's on the app where all the magic happens. So that's where they can come and be a part of it.
Does it cost money? So I assume the events obviously cost money, but help me understand, to be a member of the community, to join Heare Brotherhood.
When is this coming out?
Most of our
we have a few announcements.
It's a few weeks.
We have a few announcements this week. Okay, good.
So it'll come out after you make these announcements.
Okay, perfect. So we'll just act as if it's already live.
Most of our events are actually free, like our single events. So on the app, we also announce all of our events and retreats.
Okay.
Our retreats do cost money, but that was a huge thing going into this. Is we wanted a huge component of it was accessibility. Right. Men's retreats, for those who don't know, are typically very expensive. They're usually typically
like 4,000 or 5,000
into the thousands of dollars. And so going into this, we wanted to provide those experiences for men that aren't CEOs or presidents of companies or sold companies or whatever. We wanted it to be available to the average person.
Yeah.
And so our retreats are typically very affordable. And we always want to keep it that way. And so in order to do that, right now our app is free as we've been growing our community, but we are going to monetize the app and have a monthly subscription involved with it that will be still very accessible. And we're really excited to release that and to announce it.
That's Friday.
It's coming up soon. So I guess once this goes out, it will be live. But on top of that, once we release it, we also made a journal that coincides with the app. So when people become a member, it will come with the journal that coincides with the app.
Physical journal?
A physical physical journal.
Yeah.
But we still struggled and went back and forth on the app because we wanted to keep it accessible. Even though the base price is $7.99 a month, we decided to still do a free option for those who can't afford
That's
it.
awesome.
And so for people who have lost a job or have had financial struggles, we have that free option. And then our third option is $19.99, and it's called the Brothers Keeper subscription. And a percentage of that goes to helping people who can't afford the app and keeping things accessible for others.
And so hopefully evens it out. It's kind of following the Angel Studios model.
I see that.
Where you pay it forward, because there are people that need it probably the most, that are in the depths of despair, and maybe they lost a job or they
and we've all been there too.
Yeah.
I've been laid off. We've all been. Even $7.99 a month for people can seem, even though it seems so little, like that can still be something that's like, well, like I'm struggling feeding my family right now. Like I'm not going to pay $7.99 for this. And so,
but but also it fits with our goal to forge a global brotherhood, because $7.99 in the United States is going to look very different in Ghana. Mm-hmm. It's going to look very different in the Philippines. And so we understand that we need to adjust and make it possible for as many men around the world to have access to this, with the understanding, and this is the asterisk for the free option, with the understanding that when you are able to afford these resources, we ask that you will pitch in, because it's the only way that we can keep it running, is that we all pitch in.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Fantastic.
Before we get into the rest of the episode, we want to thank the partners and sponsors who made the Kiln Road Trip possible. The Kiln Road Trip is brought to you by Kiln. Kiln is a boutique co-working and flex office community with 13 locations in 6 states across the West, dedicated to providing innovative workspaces that empower your team to thrive. Whether you're a solo visionary or an enterprise-level team of up to 100, Kiln transcends being merely a place to work. It's a hub for learning and connecting with like-minded professionals that will make you and your team love where you work.
And if you haven't stepped foot inside a kiln yet, you really need to. On this road trip, we visited every single location, and trust us when we say once you see these beautifully designed spaces, meet the talented team, and connect with fellow members, you won't want to work anywhere else.
Locations include Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, California, and Arizona. And they're growing too, with multiple locations set to open in 2024.
Yeah, so be sure to check out the kiln locations nearest you by booking a tour at kiln.com and answer Swell in the question, how did you hear about us? Once you complete the tour, you'll be entered into a competition where you could win a 1-year membership, their club membership at Kiln.
Yep, you heard that. That's kiln.com, book a tour, and be sure to mention Swell in the question, how did you hear about us?
The Kiln Road Trip is also brought to you by Moterra Campervans, a luxury campervan rental company for iconic road trips. Their top-of-the-line vans are available at 7 locations located near America's best outdoor adventure destinations. They have consistently earned the highest customer ratings in the industry, making Moterra Campervans your gateway to adventure without sacrificing on comfort or service.
That's true, and initially we wanted to take this journey in a 1960s VW bus, but thankfully we found Moterra instead. With 3 van options, we took the Pop Top Classic, which sleeps 4 and is best for those who want to maximize floor space and storage. This was critical for us because it needed to sleep the entire crew, we needed space to edit, and we were traveling with large amounts of equipment, luggage, and other goodies that we picked up along the way.
And this van took us through all 3,580 miles of the trip. Super comfortable and sweet to drive.
And actually, Moterra offers fully planned itineraries if you'd rather leave the planning to someone else.
Visit gomoterra.com/swell. That's gomoterra.com/swell.
This episode is also brought to you by Taurus. Taurus is leading the charge in home energy storage. Taurus makes it easy to achieve energy independence and a greener tomorrow. The Taurus station provides everything you need to generate clean power, efficiently store electricity, and easily manage your energy use.
And installing a Taurus station offers plenty of benefits, including save money on your electricity bill,
also ensure energy security with backup power during outages,
reduce carbon emissions with renewables.
You can also automate EV charging and HVAC systems with 100% renewables,
and enjoy unrivaled system monitoring and support.
If you like the sound of those benefits, get a quote to build your Taurus station in less than 30 seconds. Super easy at taurus.co. That's TORUS.co. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Thank you.
And we interviewed, didn't we? Season 2, the Harmon brothers and
cool.
Neil and Theron. But yeah, the model is just unique and paving the way for others to say, hey, let's do this again.
We debated it a lot. We went back and forth on it a lot. Eventually, we're just like,
I'm triggered.
We felt we felt so right with it, and we're just going forward with it in faith, because essentially everyone could select the free option if they like. There's no way to monitor that.
And we're glad that we've seen the model done before, because it would have been really hard to choose it. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're talking like the whole time we've been working on this, almost the whole time, we've struggled back and forth, because we're like, well, if we have somebody that wants to invest, like that doesn't look very good. And then at the end of the day, dare I say, we've had some pretty spiritual experiences that have led us to believe that it is the only option that fits with our mission. And it's the only way that we're able to help as many men as we possibly can.
You being true to the mission.
Sure.
I mean, it'll pay off.
I think so.
Yeah, always going back to the mission and always going back to the oath.
Yeah.
So before we finish, any advice you have to our listeners who are trying to create something that never existed before? Types of things you've learned about that? Any thoughts around that topic? Because you're in the thick of it right now, but you've obviously,
The biggest advice I would give is do it with people that you trust and love. Because I'll tell you, me and John are. I mean, just by looking at us, we're very opposites.
We're very different.
We literally disagree on so many things, but it's led to so many beautiful things as well.
Yeah.
But we've always done it respectfully. We love each other like brothers, and doing it with people that make you a better person and drive you, I would say, is almost one of the most important things to do if you're starting anything.
And also, I will second that, and also add that, despite anybody's religious or spiritual beliefs, my biggest advice, whether popular or not, is do it with whatever, if you believe in God, in a higher power, some people say intuition, make sure as you're building to tune into that, because if you don't, you're going to make decisions based off of what are the best business practices or whatever, which has value. But at the end of the day, listening to what I believe to be God leading us in certain decisions has been the best decision we've made as a foundation for all of the decisions we make.
And make sure it's purpose-driven.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being a part of this and coming down here today.
For sure. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Kiln Road Trip. Be sure to follow along on the rest of the journey, and you can do that in 2 ways. 1, subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or maybe even watching on YouTube, and follow along on all of our social media platforms, whether you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, @the Swell Pod. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next episode.